हेलो एवरीवन, वी हैव टू डिस्कस अबाउट द जीएस पेपर टू मेंस आंसर राइटिंग की प्रिपरेशन देख लेते हैं। मैं जहाँ से निकाल चुका हूँ नंबर सारे ब्लैक लिस्ट में डाल के में जा दुनिया analyzes the impact of the political and the policies of the China's on the India's and interested the including its the economic and the strategic implications approach in this the question and the candidate तो चलो जा कितनी दूर होगा। In this question, candidate need to the write and about the importance of the Chinese policies and the political on India's and interested and strategically and the economic introductions and the Chinese policies and have other significant impact on India's in various the areas and including the trade and the diplomacies and the regional power and the dynamics and the China's is India's and the largest trading partners and but there the trade and relationships is often imbalanced and with the India's running are the significant trade and the deficits strategically and the China's Belt and the Road Initiative and its the military and presence in the Indians and oceans and regions and have also the raised and concern for India's and security and the regional influences bodies. Economic impact of the Chinese policies in India's and China's economic policies have had and both the positives and the negative impact on the India's and on one hand and the Chinese investment and have the helped and spurs the economic growth and job and creation in India's and on the others and hand India's trade deficits and with the China's has the witnessed and as the China export and more to the India's and then it is the imports and additionally then some Indian industries and such as the electronics and the small scale manufacturing and have the faced and increased the competitions from the cheaper Chinese imports and the two countries have also had the ongoing borders and disputes and the political tensions which can negatively impact on economic relations. Positive impact of the Chinese and economic policies on India's and the positive impact of the Chinese economically policies on the India's and include the investment and the growth in Chinese investment in India's and has the help and the spur economics growth and the job creation as well as the improved and infrastructures in various sectors and such as the telecommunication and transportations and real estate and technology transfer Chinese companies and bring with them and the advanced technologies and the expertise and which can help the modernize and the upgraded India's economics and the increase the increased trade between India and the China's and has the opened up new market and for the Indian business and has had a positive impact on the countries and overall the economic growth and joined the ventures. Joint ventures between the Indian and the Chinese companies and have the led to the creations of the new products and services and boosting the innovation and the competitiveness and overall the biles China's economic policies and have had some negative impact on the India's and they have also brought on the significant benefits and such as the increased and investment growth and the technology and advancement. Negative impact of the Chinese economic policies on India's and the impact बिठाल दे जाएंगे पे वर्क negative impact of the Chinese economically policies on India's the negative impact of the Chinese economically policies on India's includes trade deficit. India's trade the deficit and with the China's has the increase on over the years and as China exports and more and goods and to the India's and Trade deficit. India's trade the deficits and with the China's and has the increased over the years as China export and more goods and to the India's and then its and the imports and this has had other negative impact on the India's and balance of the trade and it's the overall economic competitions and in the domestic markets. Chinese imports and the especially in the sectors and such as the electronics and the small scale manufacturing and have the created instance and the competition for the Indian industries and businesses and the leading to the decrease in profits and loss and job losses. The politically tension, the ongoing borders and disputes and the politically tensions and between India's and China's and have had other negative impact on the economically relations and between the two countries and leading to the reduced and trade and the investment flows. Influx and of the Chinese product and the floods of the cheap Chinese production into the India's has had other negative impact on the small scale and the cottage industry and such which have the struggled and to the complete and with the low and cost imports. Overall, while and China's and economically policy have brought and some the benefits and to the India's and the negative impact have the outweighed and the positive effects and the leading to the growing concern and the tension benefit between the two countries. Chinese policies impacts on the India's strategically and the China's policies have had other significant impact on the India's strategically positions in several ways. Border disputes and China's and the territorial claims and the aggressive actions in the regions, particularly along the India's-China's border and have led to the ongoing borders and disputes and the tensions and between the two countries and the affecting the stabilities and the security in the regions. Military imbalance and China military and built up and the modernization effort have created the strategic imbalance in the regions and as it has the significant outpaced India's in the terms of the military and capabilities economically. Economic dependence and India the depends on the China's and imports, particularly in the electronics sectors and has the created and the strategically vulnerabilities and for India's as other disruption in trade relations and could have the significant economically impacts. Strategic partnerships and China's strategic partnerships and with the Pakistan and other the countries in the regions and have been other source of the concern for the Indias and as they have the potential to the alters and the regional and balance of power. Overall, China's policy have had either significant an impact on the India's and strategic position and affecting the regional stability and security and economic independence and India must adopt other well-rounded and the nuanced and the strategies and that the addressed and thus the challenges while also the seeking to the fosters economic cooperations and the stabilities and with the China's and conclusion, India's policy towards the China's and should be the balanced and one the considering and both the economically and the strategic implications. Economically and India should aims to the reduced and it's the trade and deficits and with the China's and while also
ले तो ले जा दे ले कहने जाओ ले जा कब ले
while also creating the favorable and condition for the Indians and business and to complete and with the Chinese imports and strategically India should and focus on the strengthening its the economic and the military capabilities to better the protect and its the national interest and the address security and concern in the regions. Discuss the impact of the political development in the West Asia on India's energies, security and the succeeded and way to the address and thus the challenges. Candidates can start the answer and the with and the giving basic the ideas and about.
No. Baik lah. ले जा बात कर इसका
पानी
अरे खराब है तो उसका बचा रहा है देखो
और देखी दे
अरे यार तू भी तो
अबे भागे रहा था गिर गया गाड़ी से गिर गया
कट नहीं बाबा Candidate can start the answer and with the giving basic and the ideas and about the India oil import and then the highlighted and how the disruptions in the best. बोरे ही खा रहा हूँ जो ले जाओ. Will impact the India and the its and the energies and security also. अरे मुँह नहीं चाहिए भाई.
पीले बाल कौन है रे बुद्धि के ज्ञान
बिस्कुट की दिखा खा जाए
Introduction based Asia is the India's largest source of the crude oil and accountings and more than the 70% of India totals oils the imports and any the geopolitical tensions. Conflict or the disruptions in the oil producing and the countries. Like Iran and Saudi Arabia and the UAE and can the lead into the instabilities in the global oil market and the affected the oil prices, which in the terms and can the impact on India's the energy security body and volatilities and in the Middle East and the political instabilities and the conflict in the regions and can the lead to the disruptions in the oil supplies and the causing the speaks and in the global oil prices and the affecting the India's and the energy security and the dependence on the imports and India's the dependence on the imported and oil the from and West Asia's and makes is the vulnerable and to the price and the volatility and the supply disruptions and which can have other significant and the impacts on the countries and the economics and the energies and securities. Competition for the resources and the increasing the competition for the energy resources in the best Asias and can lead to the higher prices and the greater competition for the supplies and making it is the more and difficult and for India's to the secures the energy it is need and the geopolitically tension and between the countries in the regions and measure the energy and is for importing the countries and including the India's and can also the affect the energy and the securities and by the creating the uncertainties and the instabilities in the energies and market and the potentially and disrupting on oil and the national gas supply changing the global energy and the dynamics the changing global energy and dynamic including the rise of the alternatives and sources of the energies and the declines of the traditionals oil producing the countries and can also the impact on India's the energy and security measures and to take us the challenges and to the ensure the energy and the securities of India diversify and the energy sources and the diversify in India the energy and mix to the reduced and the dependence on other single reasons and to the minimizing the impact of the supply and disruptions in the events of the political instability or the conflict and in the best Asias and this can the introduce in the investing in the renewables and energy and exploring the alternatives and sources of the oils and the gas. And in providing energy and the efficiency and strengthening the domestic and the energy productions increasing domestic and the energy and production and including the oil and the gas exploitation to reduce the India's and the dependent on the imports and improving and energy efficiency and improving energy and the efficiency in all the sectors of the economics to reduce the demands and for the energy and reduce the impact of the supply and the disruptions and the reduce the countries and dependence on the important and oil and gas. enhancing diplomatics and efforts and the engaging in the diplomatics and the effort to the ensure the stabilities in the regions and to secure the India and the energy and supplies and the including the negotiatings and the energies and the securities and the agreement and with the key energies and producing the countries and the engaging in multilaterals and energy forums and buildings the strategics and the research and building and strategic research of the oils and the gas and to the ensures that the country has the adequate and supplies in the event of the disruptions in the base areas and to reduce the impact of the species in the global oil prices encouraging encouraging private investment and encouraging the private investment in the energy and sector the including the investment in the renewables energies and explorations and the productions of the oil and the gas and to the promotes and the domestic energy and productions and reduce the dependence on imports and the implementing the energy and efficiency technologies and implementing and energy efficiency and technologies introducing the smart grid and system and energy the storage systems and the electrics and vehicles and to reduce the energy and demand and the improves energy security and conclusion India the energy and security is the closely and try to the India the political development in the best areas and the country and must take the strategic and the proactive the approach and to the address and thus the challenges and the secures it is the energy supplies and this may the includes and the diversifies and it is the energy and sources and developing the domestic energy and productions and engaging in domestic efforts to the ensure the stabilities in the regions and question number third evolution the role of the international institutions and such as the World Health Organization WHO in the addressing global health challenges and its the implications for the Indians and interests and the engagement in thus the forums and candidate can start the answer and with giving the basic ideas of the India's and WHO and the partnerships of how WHO is the globally responsible also the highlights and the implications on the India's and how India benefits from the engagements introduction the World Health Organization WHO play a crucial role in the addressing global health challenges by the providing leadership and the coordinations in the international response to the public health issues and body. Some of the ways and the WHO contribution to the addressing global health challenges include the monitoring and the assessing the global health situations and the WHO collect the analysis and the disseminated and the information on the public health issues and trends to the informs and policies and decisions making. Developing health standard and the guidelines and the WHO and developed the evidences and best the standard and the guidelines and they're the sub as are the basic for national health policies and the programs and supporting the diseases control and the eliminations the WHO provides and technically assistance and support to the countries in controlling and the eliminating and diseases such as the tuberculosis, malaria and polio emergencies and response the WHO and lead and the coordinates and international health and response and to the emergencies and such as the outbreaks of the infectious diseases and the natural disasters and the research and the innovations the WHO and conducts and the supports research and the innovations in the areas and that the impact global health and the provides other platforms for other sharing knowledge and best the practices as the member of the WHO and India has other vested interested in engaging and with the organization and to address the health challenges and the promotes and it is the national interested and some of the implication some of the implications, and as other member of the WHO, India has other vested interested in the engaging and with the organizations and to address the health challenges and the promotes its the national interested, and some of the implications of India and engagement and with the WHO include access to the information and the knowledge and by the participating and in the WHO programs and initiatives, and India's gain access to the latest and informations and knowledge on the public health issues and traits. influences influences in setting health standard and the policies.
I wrote down the
Health standard and policies by the engaging and with the WHO, and India has the opportunities to the participated and in the development of the health and standard and the policies and that impact it is the populations and the influences the global health agendas. Technical assistance and the support and through its the engagement and with the WHO, India can the receive and technologically assistance and support in the areas and such as the disease control and the eliminations and emergency response and research and the innovation strengthening regionals and the global health corporation by the participating in the WHO and the other international health fora, and India can the build and relationships and partnerships and with the other countries and to the strength and regionals and the global health corporations. Conclusion: overall, the WHO and play other critical and role in the promoting and the protecting global health and by the providing other unified and coordinations and approach to the addressing and the health challenges at the global level. And question number 4: discuss the role of the India's in promoting the regionals and stabilities and the security through it is the participations in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO. Approach. Introduction: Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO and is a permanent international intergovernmental organization. It is the covers and 40% of the global populations, nears the 20% of the global GDP and the 22% of the world land mass, and it is play other strategically important role in the Asia's due to its the geographical and the significant, and this the enables and it to the controlled and Central Asia has India role in the promoting stability is the crucial body. The established of the SCOs and the coincides and with the board dealing of India and strategic visions, and with the defeats and of the Taliban and the widow of the opportunities and the open to the connected and with Afghanistan and the cars, and since it is the inceptions and India had the evinced interested in the joining the groupings, and because of its the stakes in the peace and stabilities in the regions. At the Asthanas and the summit in 2005, and India was the accorded observers and status in the groupings. SCO is part and of the Indian started policies of the pursuing and multi-alignment. From the Indian perspective and the strategic and the geopolitical and space in the biz, the SCOs and the strategies is the extremely and the important the securities and strategic economics and geopolitically interested, and are the also and the closely and intertwined and with the development and in the this and the areas. The challenges of the terrorism and the radicalism and the instabilities and pose other grave and threat to the Indians and the sovereignties and the integrities. India requested an access to the intelligence and the information from the SCO counters and terrorism and body the Tashkent and based the regional anti-terror structures and rates. The stable Afghanistan is in the India's and interested in the rates provides and access to the non Pakistan and the centered and the counters terrorism information with the landlocks and state of the Central Asias and the Uzbekistan and even the dropped doubtly and landlocked accessing and thus the resources and becomes difficult in this the regard and India has the prioritized the constructions of the international north south transports and joining the SUs it will help India to connect with the South Asian state the Central Asian regions and is the richly endowed and with the vitals and the minerals and natural resources. The major interested and is in the energy cooperations and but India will also have to the deals with the and the assertives and the Chinas and which will the push and it's the belt and road initiatives SU memberships and will help and to be the majors and pan Asians and players and which is currently and the boxed in the South Asian regions and Central Asia is other part of the India and extended and the neighborhood and India the relation and with the countries and in the regions and have the enormous and potentials and for the enhancing the ties in areas and such as the economics and the securities and policies investment trade connectivity energy and the capacities development and one the reasons and is the simplify and there the India's and does not share the common land and borders with the regions and but the another factor and has been the infrequent and visits at the highest levels and between the India and the Central Asians and states and India the memberships in the SCOs and will the provided and the opportunities and for the relationship of the India's and the including Prime Minister to meet and with their the counterparts and from the Central Asias and Russia's, China's and Afghanistan and other regularly and the frequently and India the participating in the Eurasian economic unions and EEU and will be and the added and advantage and to make and this the partnerships and more the fruitful. India have demonstrated and it's the keens and the interested in the strengthens and the multifaceted and relation and with the Central Asians and through the Prime Minister and historical visit and to the 5 Central Asian republics in the July 2015 and several the agreement bear the signed and new initiative and where the launch and the Tapi gas and the pipelines is an the example of the mutualities and the beneficiaries and project and in the futures and India development experiences and the particularly in the promotings and agriculture small and the medium enterprises and the pharmaceuticals and the informations and technologies and can be of the ensures immense and the benefits and to the Central Asian country. Indian PM raised and the issues of the radicalizations as well. India is the crime and there the PM gave and the cold and the health and the alphabet. T stand and for the countries. T stand for the countries and there the stands and the against the terrorism. It is important and to the note and there the radicalizations and is and the issues and there the bidding with the Central Asians and regions in other very and the big bay and India and also called for and the international conference on the terrorism and the SUs can take a lead in that and the also in his the health and the acronyms and the alphabet other refers to the alternatives and energies and it is hairs and that he speaks and about India experience in terms of the focusing on the remarkable renewables energies and Prime Minister also the touch and upon the regionals and corporation and spoke about how India is willing and to the shares and it is the expertising in all the areas and focus on the Afghanistan and as other matters of the fact and this is very the significant and even the through Afghanistan is not other member of the SU but India has other contract group on the Afghanistan and the Prime Minister underlines and but India's the fundamental position on the Afghanistan is the finally it is the important to note and that the SUs and provides and the opportunities and for the Indian leaderships to connected and with the leaderships of the Central Asian countries. Conclusion: India memberships of the SCOs and has given other big and thrust into its the regional policy and India policy. India policy is rooted in the regions and has other regions look outlook the Central Asians member and have the worked. Have welcome in India the participation as they the share the wide and the perspectives and of the common concern and the interested and the active role and by the India and will the strength and the regional stability and securities in the regions and the question number 5 evaluates the impact of the regionals and groupings such as the SHAKs and the BIMSTEC on the India's and engagement and with its the neighbors and the suggested way to the enhances their the effectiveness approach in this question and candidates and need to the right and about the impact of the regional grouping and such as the SHAKs and the BIMSTEC on India's and engagement with the neighbors and in the second parts and right about ways to the enhances their the effectiveness. Introduction in India's foreign policies and there is a the continuous shift and right from the time of the 1990 and as the look east policies is concerned and to the now and east act east policy and even now beta with BIMSTEC being the promoted and the both the SHAK and the BIMSTEC has the enormous and impact on the India's and neighborhood policies body. Importance of the SHAKs and the South Asia is important and for the India's national interest because South Asia that is the India and neighborhood is important and for the India and national interest. This is best the captured and in the current government and neighborhood first policies and SHAK are the pan South Asia and rest the SHAK is the only the intergovernmental organizations in with other pan and the South Asia's reach and India can the judiciously and the employed and it to the south and the east the interested and in the entire and regions and weakened. SHAK means the heightened and the instabilities and the weak needed and SHAKs and also means highlighted stabilities in the other and promoting and regional institutions such as the South Asian University SAU and which is the crucial to the betraying and India South powers in the region and importance of the BIMSTEC and for the India and the India shifted it is the diplomatic energies and from the SHAKs to the BIMSTEC in recent year and India seems to have the moved and it is diplomatic energy and away from the SHAKs to the BIMSTEC and this the resulted in the BIMSTEC.